deck that we are unboxing is the Weiser Tarot. Now this deck is created by the good folks at Weiser Tarot. They are my publisher, or Weiser Publishing. Hey, Beth the Wicca, good morning. And I love my publisher, Weiser. The folks at Weiser are so awesome. I mean, they really listen to their authors, and they're very supportive of their authors. So the one thing I will say is if you are an author working with Weiser, you're in really good hands. Yes, we got some enabling moments. And this particular deck, now it is a version of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it's completely updated. It's done with watercolors. So the art, again, I've gotten a preview, but it's very different. Come on, I gotta like undo this plastic a little bit better. But it's different when you get it in your hands. So let's see what we need to know about this Weiser Tarot. Let's look at it. So first of all, you all know how much I love a good box. Hey, Michelle's Deck and Divination. You know, the tuck boxes, sometimes I don't care because I'm going to be throwing that tuck box away. But a nice box, that means I can take good care of this deck if I want to store it safely. So we've got a really beautiful box. Okay. Why are indie decks going for thousands after the market? Because they're rare. All right, so it comes with a nice little book, and you know, I like these. You know the little white books back in the tuck boxes? They're just like, kind of like a little pamphlet. But nowadays, so many publishers are making these neat little books. And so we've got a neat little book, and they got one card draws. They got the Celtic Cross in here, and they also have, the Ankh spread. Now, Weiser's symbol is an Ankh, right? So we've got our own little Weiser. We've got our own little Weiser spread in here. I love that. I love it when people create new spreads, so I'm going to definitely be trying that out. So it covers the history. It talks about the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and now we get to see. Now, before I start playing with this deck, y'all, now you know I really cut my teeth on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Even though my first deck was a Marseille's deck, my second deck was a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So I've been a Rider-Waite-Smith person for a long time. And I always feel that if you learn the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, listen, you can figure out any deck once you learn that. But the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is problematic because there's not much representation there. And so anytime I'm reading with that deck, it's my workhorse deck, I'm always like, okay, we're not looking at this and that. We're looking at the energy, especially with the court cards. And that's how I've read for a long time with that deck. And, you know, a lot of people, they look at that deck and they're like, well, yeah, it's a good deck to learn with, but can't find myself in there. All right, let's get the plastic off. First thing is, cardstock is perfect. Cardstock is everything to a tarot reader, especially if you're like a high volume tarot reader. You want good cardstock, and this is great cardstock. So it's firm. It's certainly not flimsy, which I appreciate. And now we get to look at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck done with Weiser. So let's take a look. So it's very colorful, and you know I love my bright colors. Bright colors are super important to me. They really speak to me. Now look at that Fool. And also you'll notice there's little symbols on the bottom. And so we've got the symbol of Uranus, but we also have Kabbalah symbols too. So this is really great if you are somebody who works with the Kabbalah, or if you are concerned with the planetary energy. Good morning, Kim O'Kane. So that's cool. Now, look at our magician. Now, isn't that an amazing magician? I like to look at this magician and say, well, it's about time. This is super colorful, beautiful. The representation is here. I love the purple robe too, right? Those bright colors really help. Now, wait till you see this High Priestess. Wow. I know, Jacqueline Tierney. Hello, hello. And our beautiful Empress. And this Emperor means business. Ooh, he looks fierce. The sky's a little dark too, which I like this Emperor. Super cool. We've got our Hierophant. A Lovers. So beautiful. Chariot. Can Kim O'Kane, I always love seeing you here with me. We got our strength card. I mean, look at the vibrancy of these colors. And think about this right away. Good morning, Marcella. When you've got a really vibrant deck, it helps with reading because colors have meaning. Colors really stimulate certain things in us. And so when I look at this version of the strength card, that bright yellow, that bright orange, ooh. Now look at the Hermit. So now I'm going to tell y'all I can get rid of my Rider-Waite-Smith deck because I'm going to be using this deck. Wow. Super cool. I am liking it. I like the colors of this deck so much. Now look at this Hanged Man. That turquoise. You all know the Tarot Lady loves turquoise. Beautiful colors. Got our Death card. And I do like some of these stormy backgrounds. Exactly, love naps. This is, now wait till you see this devil. This devil's not effing around. Wow. And the tower. And the beautiful star. I mean, and again, it's done with watercolors. So you can see the watercolor influence. So my husband works with watercolors. And so as soon as I saw the deck, the prototype, I'm like, oh my God, it looks like my husband's art. Super beautiful. Look at this Judgment. I love the purple background. And the World. Now, of course, we know that pips are going to be illustrated, but I'm going to show you something really brilliant about this deck. Because again, remember, I saw like the images beforehand, before I actually had the deck in my hands. These are available for pre-order. So when we get the wands, okay, beautiful, right? The background, okay, we got that big, bright, yellowy type background. And you know, when I think of wands and I think of yellow, there's that positive vibe around it. And wands are very proactive. They're the fire element, right? And speaking of fire, look at this King of Wands. It looks like this king is sitting in the midst of fire, right? Awesome. Now, when we get to cups, the backgrounds are blue. And I love that because we think of the water element, we think of blue. This is really smart. This is super, super smart. They're the same size as the Rider-Waite. Maybe just a smidge bigger, but they feel great in my hands, love naps. All right, now hang on. Now we get to our swords. Swords, you know, have a lot to do with our thinking. It's purple. And so I think of purple, as you know, our higher mind. So now we've got this purple background. Okay, it is a matte finish, Hanadamala. Thank you for asking, which I like that. I mean, there's a little bit of gloss here, but it's very subtle. Okay, so again, we got a purple background. Well, except when we get to that 9 of Wands and 10 of Wands, but there's still a little touch of purple there too. All right, now, and then we get to Pentacles. It's the earth element. It's green. So now we have a very different background here. All right. Super awesome. And here's why this is really clever. So when you are doing readings, this makes it quick then to see. It's kind of like, you know, you can see right away if there's a bunch of green in the background. It's helping you to really see the patterns. It's going to make it easier for reading because you can connect those colors, you connect the patterns when you see it. Like, oh my God, there's a majority of green cards. That shows there's a lot going on with Earth. So even people who are total beginners to tarot, those colors and seeing those patterns, it makes it much easier to spot the patterns. And that is really, really smart. And I love it when tarot decks do that. I have seen other tarot decks that have done that. And this is one thing that Weiser did. I mean, look at this beautiful green. I mean, this on my camera doesn't do it justice. In person, it's really vibrant. So yes, the color coding is a helpful visual shortcut, Arjuna says. Exactly. And that helps if you are a new reader, but it also helps if you've been reading for a long time because it makes it so that you could be faster and snappier with your interpretations. And I really love that. And again, when you look at the cards, representation. I love representation. It needs to be in a deck. And so this takes here's what this deck does. It takes our Rider-Waite-Smith, our beloved Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it gets a very necessary update. Number one, we get really vibrant colors, which we love. Number two, it's got representation, which we need and we demand as tarot readers. And the other thing is we have this color coding, which means that even if you're totally new to tarot, it's going to make you faster at picking up on what these cards mean and how they're all going together or not. And that helps you to develop these interpretations and to deliver flawless readings. So this is a big, big win for tarot. Now, the other thing with the back of the deck, we have, it's reversible, which I love. All right, so let me go ahead and shuffle this up, and let's see how it feels in my hands now. It shuffles like a dream. It really does. It's not so glossy that it's sliding. It's the right size for my hands. I mean, I like decks of all sizes. Yeah, Crow on Top Hat. The Rider-Waite-Smith deck, a lot of people don't like because it really does lack representation. But this is a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, but it's not like the Rider-Waite-Smith because it has a very modern update. So I dig that. Ooh, it feels good. It really does feel good. So let's pull a card. Nefertiti Rising Apothecary says, I refuse to purchase a deck that I can't identify with. Yeah, that should be, I agree. If you see a deck and it doesn't really connect with you and you can't see yourself in that deck, it doesn't make the deck really appealing to a lot of people. I mean, if a deck is only a bunch of dudes, I'd be thinking, hey. Now, a deck with nothing but cats, though, that's a different story. That's a good thing. I can identify with a cat. So let's pull one of the cards. Eight of Cups. This deck is taking us in a new contemplative direction. It's also, we're walking away from the old and the tradition into something new. So I think when we look at this deck, it's going to be good for reflection. It is good for, again, we can still love our classics, but now we can take the classics in a new direction. And that is so, so, so important. Oh my God. I love the feel of this deck. So now, you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be working overtime to season this deck because I'm going to be saying goodbye to my Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Goodbye, goodbye. This is going to be the deck I work with. Wow. Great job, Weiser. I would not expect anything less from you. So again, this is the Weiser Tarot. It's really, everything is well made about this deck. And it will be available in September, but you should get your pre-orders in now. I think this deck is going to sell very quickly, and it's definitely one that you're going to want if you are a Rider-Waite-Smith person, if you're new and you want the color coding, if you're looking for a deck with representation that is still a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I mean, it really checks off all those boxes. So definitely a big win. Big win for us tarot readers. I'm excited. I'm going to play with that all weekend. You know what the tarot lady's doing this weekend? Fighting the good fight and seasoning my Weiser Tarot. All right, y'all. So that is it. I really do hope you have an amazing weekend despite what's going on with SCOTUS. And so again, I want to remind you, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and fight the good fight. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Get started. And I'll see you all on Monday. Mwah.